Alrighty, we are here at the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. Wanted to wear my podcast shirt today, but it's dirty and I didn't get to, and it's all wrinkled, so I couldn't. But anyway, we got TNA Impact Wrestling for 2016, baby. Last Tuesday. First off, just to start off the show, that's my breaking news sound made by me. But breaking news, I guess, kind of. Awesome Kong got released today by TNA. I think it involves the scuffle she had with Rebby Sky not too long ago at the UK tour. I, I don't know. It's definitely unfortunate because I think she was kind of, she had this new leaf going on with the dollhouse, and now she won't really be able to have it anymore. I was kind of surprised that they fired her so quickly though, because it's kind of one of those things. If both of them are involved, how can you blame one over the other? I think the main issue was that little Maxwell, little Maxwell was right there in the area, and I think that was kind of the big issue with it. But I don't know. I just was wondering why they fired her so quickly. I knew they had sent her home, but they hadn't like officially like fired her. And I don't know. Like it was weird because you see different articles that say she talks about parting ways, and then you see released, and you get kind of confused. But I just now I'm curious about what the Dollhouse is going to do. If they're going to continue that, because now that's two of their quote unquote leaders that are gone, and when you have a faction with no leader, it usually kind of dissipates a little bit anyway. But any thoughts on Awesome Kong getting released before we get into the show?
It's it's kind of crazy. When I initially saw it, because I saw it on Facebook or something, there was like a post on Facebook from one of those groups that I like on Facebook or something like that, and I didn't initially think of Maxwell being right there. So I was kind of thinking like you, like why did she get released? Why was it favoritism? Because Matt's the champion now, so he gets to I don't know. But then now that you mention it, with such a young child being there, which I don't. That's kind of an issue in itself. I feel like I mean, obviously, wrestlers like Mankind used to have his kids come to some shows. Triple H obviously would have his kids around. All these wrestlers have their kids around occasionally, but with Rebby and Matt, he's there all the time just because he's so young. I don't know if that's necessarily the best environment for him to be in. Whether they get a babysitter or somebody to watch him, while they're doing the show. Not that he can't be on the road with them, but just somebody to keep an eye on him. I mean, not to say that the scuffle. I don't know what it was about. Not to say that it makes it okay if he wasn't there, because in a working environment you don't want to be having scuffles like that anyway.
Yeah. Real quick, I read up about the scuffle before, like when it happened about a week ago. Apparently, so Rebby had called, in some way, had called Awesome Kong fat in some way. I'm not entirely sure. I think she like made fun of what she was wearing or something. Or something like that. Like she had called her fat in some way, but I'm not sure what exactly she did. And Awesome Kong was not having that. Considering Awesome Kong has lost some weight. If you haven't noticed, she actually has lost some weight since she first started wrestling. She's posted about it all the time, actually. But any thoughts on that as you continue your thoughts? I just wanted to fill you in just in case you didn't know.
I mean, the girl obviously, I mean, she be working out in the gym, but TNA has the worst luck in 2015 and 2016. It feels like, You know, they're not having luck with factions, with, you know, especially the Dollhouse, which is one of the better factions that they have. Hopefully nothing will happen with Decay, because I really like them too. But, you know, and then all the injuries that they had, you know, with the Wolves, with the Hardys, it just sucks. And then obviously we won't get into it today, but tomorrow, when we do NXT, we'll talk about some other releases. Just, I don't know what the hell is going on right now. It's just, we're gonna start our own promotion, and we're just gonna hire all these people that are getting released. That's what we're gonna do, except for Bull Dempsey.
Anyway, let's continue our start with the show. We had a Matt Hardy promo. Man, you know, he was talking about, you know, different things with karma and whatnot. That's ironic since Awesome Kong's name in WWE is Karma. Sorry, I just caught that and I was like, I had to make that joke. Anyway, you know, Rebby, you know, I was believing Casey a little bit last week, but I was kind of on the fence because I mean, I'm loving this iconic Matt Hardy gimmick. I walk around screaming I am iconic and people get confused, but you know, I'm loving it, man. And Rebby, you know, she can cut a promo, you know, and I'm just really liking it. You know, Matt Hardy would talk about the Matt Hardy brand. EY would come out not giving a crap about what Matt Hardy was saying. You know, and I thought it was cool that they kind of hit on EY. You know, he still talks about taking things and kind of implies that he's taking things like people's belts and people's careers and stuff, which I'm glad they still continue to hit on that. You would get Kurt Angle coming out. He would say kind of his piece. We would get Angle versus Hardy for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship set for tonight. Beer Money would come out. EY and Brand would come out. A brawl would ensue. The Decay would come out and join the brawl. The Wolves would come out and join the brawl. Beer Money and the Wolves versus the Decay and the Nutcases would end up becoming a match in a hardcore fight war thing because that's kind of how it was. Its original name is a hardcore war, but James Storm called it a hardcore fight, so I was confused. So you know, whatever. Any thoughts on Matt Hardy's opening promo that set up a lot of the matches we would see tonight, or at least two of them?
It was good. Still, there was something about it though that I felt like Rebby was a little bit off this week. Like it wasn't as good as it has been, you know, in past weeks. I don't know what it was. Just something about it felt a little bit weak to me. But I like how it, you know, set up all, you know, a couple of the matches tonight. It was weird. I'm glad that you noticed that it was kind of weird how he said hardcore fight, and it didn't sound right. I was like, you mean a match? Hardcore match, hardcore fight? That just doesn't roll off the tongue. When it goes into my ear canal, it hits a wall the wrong way. It doesn't just right in there. I don't know what that was, but
You were fixing your hair.
I like yeah. But you know, I liked it. I was a little bit confused when the actual hardcore fight started because they didn't explain the rules before the match. They explained it at the match. Like, two people are gonna start out, and then it was like, oh, okay. Why can't they all just be in the ring at the same time? This is a hardcore fight. There shouldn't be rules. Okay. But yeah, I like this opening segment. You know, I don't know. I feel like they're eventually gonna do something with, you know, Rebby and Matt. Like, if he ever loses a title, like some sort of like rift between them, which is gonna be weird because they're actually married, not like a fake on-screen marriage, like in some cases. So I'm just curious what they're going to do with it. I
Last
actually
time,
thought he was going to lose the title tonight. I did. There were some points where I was like, oh my God, he's going to lose it.
last time I had a rift between a husband and wife, Karen Jarrett happened. Anyway, next
Yeah.
we would get Drew Galloway trying to talk with the champ, but Tyra steps up to him. And I was kind of liking this face off at this point. I was kind of liking the Drew Galloway versus Tyrus face off. I'm still looking for them to do something with Tyrus. He feels too much like the Funkasaurus still to me. I wanted him to stick with the jeans and the big chain thing he was wearing at that one point. Just it was just casual clothes, but I wanted him to kind of stick with that, just change it up a little bit or something. Um, but Tyrus kind of reminded him that he is a number one contender. And one thing about it, and I think we don't think about it a lot, but I feel like they're gonna make Tyrus a big player at some point because there's a reason why he's always around the title. Since he's been in TNA, he's always been around the world title. Even if it's been in this bodyguard, ooh, I'm the big bouncer guy. Even if it's been in that fashion, he's always been around the title. So obviously he's gonna cash in at some point. Probably end up turning on Matt Hardy potentially. I'm wondering though. I'm definitely curious. I want to see how it's going to go. Any thoughts on Drew Galloway and Tyrus and the face off? And I think they ended up having a match too.
Yeah, I not so much about the face off because that was cool, but I was thinking about that too. And eventually he is the number one contender, so eventually he will have a match for the title. But I kind of wanted it to be against EC3, his original boss, whatever. I felt like that would have been more, personal. It would have felt more, it would have felt bigger. I feel like if he cashes in against Matt Hardy, yeah, it's going to be cool, but there's not going to be that, that connect that we've built up over the past, 2 years with, EC3 and Tyrus. I mean, yeah, it was surprising when he turned on him, but if it was, for the title, it would have been so much better.
I agree. I don't know if maybe because I feel like EC3 is injured. Because I don't know if maybe that got in the way of that. Because TNA and injuries, they just can't run away from them. It's just not a thing they can do at all. But next we would have Bobby Lashley versus Aiden O'Shea. I'm just wondering, Mr. O'Shea, question to you who probably won't ever watch this video. Do you actually ever wear your suspenders? I mean, I always see them down. It's always straps down for Aiden O'Shea. But do you ever wear the things? But anyway, Raquel would come out kind of early in this match, and with I don't know if you felt this way, but the walking was weird for I've never overanalyzed many people's walking, but watching Raquel walk to the ring, it felt like she couldn't walk or something. Like it felt like she couldn't walk in heels or something. I don't know if you felt that way, but it just felt weird to me. It had an awkward vibe, like just the way she was walking. I don't know if she was trying to walk that way or something. Also, Lashley tried to do his best Tommaso Ciampa impression and hit a jumping knee. Obviously, O'Shea, dodged it, but I think it was actually his springboard, but it looked like a jumping knee. And I was like, I'm putting this in my notes. O'Shea would take advantage off of the Raquel distraction, but Lashley would end up hitting a spear. And Raquel would say, I remember I said I can bring you pain, I can bring you pleasure. Uh, something like that. That's very close to her accent. It's not. But anyway, uh, I like this Raquel character for Miss Gabby. I know your real name, but I know this Raquel. I kind of like this Raquel character. It's not really bringing her in as like a knockout, but bringing her in as a kind of a manager type of a weird type of a I can bring you pleasure type. I don't know. But anyway, I'm wondering what they're gonna do with this. Because I mean it is intriguing. I'm glad they're kind of letting it extend out for a little bit as far as how long it's taking. I kind of want to see what's going to happen with this. Any thoughts on Lashley versus O'Shea? It wasn't really a long match. I think the main point was getting Raquel into the fray here a little bit. Your girl Raquel.
I don't know how you did it, but you managed to make a Brazilian accent sound like a mix of an Eastern European accent and a Japanese man. I don't know how you did that. But anyway, first off, he be wearing the suspenders before the match. He puts them down so he has all the mobility and everything. But after the match, he puts them back up. Keep his pants up. Just in case somebody tries to pants him. All the pranks in the back and all that. But this was a good match. It was short. It was good until Raquel came out, and then it just ruined my whole night because I hate her so much, almost as much as that the one in NXT that Emma's partner. That one.
Why do you hate her? Like, why? Why? Okay, is it because she's a model and she's trying to transition into wrestling, and anyone who wasn't a wrestler before can transition into wrestling? I feel like this is just your philosophy. But I bet you like Trish Stratus, though.
I mean, come on. It was Trish Stratus. I mean, who didn't like Trish Stratus? Come on now. Gay men like Trish Stratus, okay? It might be just the hair because she has like the bleach blonde, but like for a while there, it was almost that like gray that was a fad for a while. I don't know why. I didn't like it. I don't know. And then the way she talks and her face, and she's hot, but like she's annoying. Anyway, back to Raquel. I did notice the walking was just it was weird. And it wasn't just the walking. I feel like her like live is a little bit weird too. Like maybe just she hasn't had enough work, working in front of a live, audience. I mean, she did go through Tough Enough, but they didn't do she didn't have the training to, actually go out in front of all of these, crowds and know how to react and how to, work the camera and things like that. And plus, I mean, she annoying and she needs to go away far, far, far away.
Anyway, as we continue,
far away.
Maria would come out kind of in her miracle type of entrance, but she would kind of put the spotlight on her, which I kind of liked. It's very interesting. She talks about passion, talks about women's wrestling. She says, the women don't need a miracle; they need a leader. She talks about how the division is broken, out with the old, in with the new. And Gail Kim comes out, and she kind of just punked down Maria a little bit. Are we about to see an in-ring return of Maria? I haven't seen Maria Kanellis Bennett in a long time in the ring. She did have that match against WDB, but other than that, I haven't seen her in the ring in a while since WWE. So I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna what the plan is for that. Is she gonna actually get back in the ring? And no one ever notices this, and it's just me that notices. I guess. I love because TNA is one of those companies that they listen to the fans, but they almost listen to the fans too literally, and go the complete extreme. So we've been talking about this for so long, and they always taking shots at WWE, which is smart. Don't get me wrong; it's a smart move. And talking about how the women's wrestling needs a leader, women's wrestling is broken. And it's kind of just hitting back on WWE and a former WWE diva, I guess is what we're calling her, a former WWE women's wrestler saying these things, and everything that we say about WWE, TNA will go back and they'll kind of just throw it into a storyline or something. I don't know. For some reason, I like that they do it. And I always notice it, and I love that they do it. Because if WWE is gonna act like you don't exist, then hit WWE where it hurts the most. Hit WWE where they really don't know what to do right now. But anyway, I like this. I don't like the Gail Kim Punk down Maria because I was like, bruh, that ain't right. That ain't cool. I mean, I get it. She the she the X Division champion. She
She the
that
X
good.
Division champion?
She
Where'd
that
she get
good.
that?
She that good. She is the knockout champion, but still, that was a little much for me. Any thoughts on Maria maybe being the potential leader, savior of women's wrestling?
Yeah, girl. Yeah, women's wrestling and whatnot. And Gail Kim's legs looked weird. I don't know if it was the heels, but I mean maybe they just I don't know. I noticed weird things like that. But I I don't know. I initially didn't like when Gail Kim kind of punked her out, but I kind of like it too because she got into Gail Kim's head, so she could use that. And I like that she kind of came out and it was her. She was in the spotlight. She's not just you know uh, Mike Bennett's wife. She's not just like a valet or a manager. She's gonna actually wrestle, which we haven't seen in a while. I think she did wrestle for Women of Honor, Ring of Honor's women's division that you never see unless you go on to the website, I guess. But I haven't really seen her wrestle in a while. So I'm excited to see her back in the ring. Hopefully, I think it would be a great match with her and Gail Kim. I think both of them could put on a really good match, and hopefully not get injured because TNA. Heh,
It's all your fault, Casey, is what it is.
probably
But
just
anyway,
a mistake.
but,
Yeah.
but anyway, Beer Money and the Wolves had a little argument because they can't even function together because the titles are in the middle of them and they just can't do it. Then we would get a hardcore war. Is EY in every hardcore war ever? I think I feel like he is. I feel like he created the match, and like there's no hardcore war without EY. But anyway, I'm not gonna give Casey a match because he doesn't take notes because he doesn't care about TNA. But anyway, Davey Richards and Crazy Steve start the match out. There was just a lot of weapons in this match. I'm not even gonna go through this entire match because I it's just a lot of me saying this guy came out next and then stuff happened. But there was a keg to the yam bag multiple times. Poor Bram. Poor Bram. Bram, you don't have to put up with this, man. Bram, you don't have to put up with this, man. Look into his eye. Wait, don't look into his eyes. Don't do it, Bram. But anyway, Bram don't have to take. He don't have to do this. He don't have to take this anymore. He don't have to take these shots to the yam bag. Bram, I think the man has taken too many shots to the yam bag. But anyway, I love how James Storm listened to the fans and with the one more time chant. Kind of something you don't see all the time. Even with TNA, you don't see it all the time with TNA. It's just some stars do it. You know what I mean? And especially with WWE, they never um, one more time. Uh, next spot, please. They never actually listen to the fans. But Abyss comes out with Rosemary, which I like. I love that Rosemary carries the titles. As much as it's kind of defacing the titles and it's just disrespectful, I love that she drags the titles a little bit. It adds to that creepy mystique that we don't really know about yet from Rosemary and the Decay in general. Love the Decay as a team. Um, as I said last week, I feel like it really brings back a little bit of that old Abyss. I kind of wish they would have changed his attire a little bit because I still feel like I'm looking at Revolution Abyss a little bit. But anyway, Um, it was just nice to see a good like influx of weapons in this match. We had chairs, um, baseball bats with chains on them because yes, we had kegs, which was cool. Um, good old Janice, good old Janice came back. Good old Janice, she was there. Bay Janice, the Mrs. Bay was there. Um, the 7-man suplex was pretty cool. Um, the I love that the Decay end up winning this match with the title shot. With the shot with the belt. I just think it kind of just rubbed it in your face when you lose with the shot with your own belt. Um, I kind of like it. I like this hardcore war. It's nice to see some different weapons, even in this match. Obviously we saw the traditional baseball bat, but it was had a little chain around it, just something different, which was pretty cool. Any thoughts on the hardcore war?
TNA is racist and stereotypical. Did I see Bobby Roode come out with a hockey stick? Cause he Canadian.
Is Canadian a race though? It's like a nationality, not necessarily a
It's
race.
still stereotypical.
Yeah. I mean that's true. It's not. It's just not a race though.
It's a race. Shut up. It's a race. But yeah, I love this match. I love the Decay. Everybody bring out weapons, and Crazy Steve. He brought out weapons, but he just bites you. He'll just bite you in the face. He don't care. I I was happy that they won. I really hope we probably won't, but I really hope we get to hear Crazy Steve on the mic at some point, because I feel like that would be interesting. We've obviously heard Rosemary talk, we've heard Abyss talk many times, but we've never actually heard Crazy Steve talk. Like, I feel like he has a British accent. I do. I mean, or that weird Eastern European Japanese accent that is apparently Brazilian. I don't know. I mean, it might be. But I'm excited to see what they do with this. It's just a really cool team that's kind of, they have that mystique that, like, you don't really know what they're thinking. You kind of get almost that, what I felt like was like the Joker kind of feel, like, and then just Abyss, because why not? Just throw Abyss in there, because sure. But yeah, this was a good match. It was, it got that hardcore match that everyone, still wants to see. So we were happy, but I don't know. I don't really know what they're doing with all this, because there's so many teams, and is this all for the tag team titles? Is this, I don't get it. Like, if
Casey, we wanted more tag teams. Don't complain. Don't complain.
Yeah,
They're
but
giving
not
you what
all
you
mashed
want.
up.
They're giving you
Not
what you
all
want.
mashed up. They're being too literal again. They're being
But do you get a weird like love triangle from the Decay? Like I feel like both of them are like in like this crazy love with Rosemary, cause like Steve does this weird thing with her hair where he like looks like he's gonna kiss her, and then Abyss is like, no, she's mine. I don't know. I get that weird vibe. I do. I get that vibe a little bit.
I mean, well, you don't know what they do when they're alone. I mean, I don't.
Anyway, anyway, um, you know, we get a bit, not Abyss, Angle and Galloway in the backstage area, kind of talking. They were in the locker room, probably in Angle's locker room, just kind of chilling out, um, talking about how if Angle wins tonight, it could be a potential rematch for the world title, which would be pretty cool. Um, and then a little bit later on, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to this. A little bit later on, Lashley would still confusing me a lot with what he is right now. But Lashley would come up and he would talk about, maybe he takes the title right back from him, kind of how Angle did to him like about a year ago, which I thought was pretty cool. Any thoughts on that? I'm still very confused about what they're doing with Lashley.
I don't know. I don't know. Pass.
He passed because he didn't write notes on it. Anyway, Drew Galloway versus Tyler.
Reason.
Drew Galloway versus Sweet Tea. No. Oh God, no. Did I say that? No. Drew Galloway versus Tyrus. Drew Galloway versus Tyrus. I'm gonna give Casey this match, even though he didn't take notes. He's gonna be like, well, this match was really good, and watch. I bet you. Watch.
I'm sorry. Who was in this match again?
That sounds about right. Tyrus and Drew Galloway, the Leonidas of TNA, and the glorious Unicorn of Swole.
What?
It was on one of his singles one day. One TNA show.
Oh yeah, I remember that because I took notes on that, and then I remembered it.
And then he stopped taking notes.
I mean, it's because it's all up here. It's all up here.
You didn't remember who was in the match.
That was sarcastically not remembering. I remember who was in the match. It was the Leonidas and the Dancing Dinosaur. Yeah, that's right. This was a good match. I'm just gonna do this because you said I don't take notes. I'm gonna just do this. This was a good match, and Tyrus, he a big guy, and Drew Galloway, he was a big guy, and they both used to be in WWE, and they're not in WWE anymore, but they big guys, and they was in this match, and they wrestled, and then the match ended with a win.
That's usually how matches end, Casey.
Tell me I don't take notes. That was a perfect notes.
They weren't. Anyway. This was an aggressive match.
That's what I said.
You didn't say that. This was an aggressive match. It was a huge powerbomb by Galloway. Tyrus was going for like a Vader bomb, it looks like. I'm not really sure. It just looked. He just got up there in like the Vader position, and he was doing the stanky leg. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I saw it. He was doing the stanky leg. I saw it. He still got the dancing in him. But Galloway looking for the Clayboard, and the lights go out. Maria talks about a miracle, and Bennett, hits Galloway with the briefcase. Obviously, we get a disqualification. Bennett cuts a promo, and basically, yes, we do. I like this miracle character. I really do. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the yes we do. It's obviously the yes we do. I'm kind of upset we didn't get to hear from Eli Drake tonight. But anyway, it happens. It happens.
It's okay. We're going to get a good feud between the Miracle and Leonidas.
That is true. That is true. But anyway, next, we got Tigre Uno versus Shane Helms? Maybe? Shane Helms comes out. He's in jeans. So we're like... So he turns into Dean Ambrose, and there we go. No, he announced that he said that someone was going to challenge Tigre Uno, but he didn't say it was going to be him. It was kind of a little bit of a bummer. Don't get me wrong. I love Trevor Lee, who ended up taking his place. I love Trevor Lee, but I feel like we've been waiting so long for Shane Helms to kind of had that moment again, but I think it is cool that we kind of get to see a young talent be showcased. He's now a 2-time TNA champion, which is pretty cool. This match was good though. I liked it. I'm glad that Tigre Uno lost. As much as I love the man, I'm just I'm glad that he lost just because I still feel like he's hurt too. He's had that shoulder wrapped up for so long. It seems like even after Bound for Glory, even after the batch of tapings that they had where he didn't really have to wrestle, he's been he had that shoulder wrapped up for a while. But it felt like in this match, as far as storyline wise, Lee had everything scouted. Lee like kind of had read up a little bit or watched more film on Tigre Uno than Uno had on him. Obviously, not knowing that Uno not knowing he was going to face Trevor Lee. But I also thought it was cool. This is kind of a thing you don't see all the time in wrestling anymore. I thought it was cool that Lee didn't break down when he won the title. You know what I mean? He didn't like get all emotional and oh my God, the boyhood dream has come true. Casey had mentioned that everyone goes into like Shawn Michaels mode and gets on their knees and I won the title. I won it. Everybody gets all excited for winning the title. I just thought it was cool for once that somebody didn't break their character, um, and kind of just stay true to themselves, which I thought was kind of cool. Any thoughts on the X Division title match and your new X Division champion?
I was so mad. First off, it wasn't Shane Helms. I was so excited all week. I was like, we're going to see him back again. And then he was like, your opponent's going to be somebody that I've known for years, that I mentored. And I was like, Shannon Moore coming back? Is it Shannon Moore? Because they have history together. And it wasn't. But I was happy it was Trevor Lee. I like Trevor Lee. I like that I guess he's officially signed by TNA now, and GFW, I guess.
Actually, what it is, the title's now interpromotional, so.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. But I like that he won the title. And I think that Tigre Uno is injured just because it felt like they held back a little bit in this match from what they could do. I mean, we still had the high spots with Tigre Uno, obviously, but it felt like he did sort of hold back a little bit in certain spots and things like that, and it felt slower paced than what we would normally expect from both of these guys. So I mean, maybe he is gonna be out for a while, nursing that injury. But I'm excited to see what they do with Trevor Lee. Hopefully they'll have Shannon Moore, or not Shannon Moore, Gregory Helms, kind of as his maybe like manager or mentor. See him more often. That would be pretty cool.
I agree. I want to see what they're gonna do with him, and maybe even have a storyline because with Tigre Uno it was kind of hard because of the whole language barrier and everything. It was kind of hard for Tigre Uno to do his thing, but as we continue, EC3 cuts a kind of a promo from his house. Looked like it was like a presidential suite or something. It didn't look like your normal, everyday, freaking desk and like just everyday room. It was like a presidential suite or something. That EC3 for champ stuff got serious. But anyway, he was coming to a realization. He says he's gonna have to face the problem. And he kind of just talked about all the things he kind of realized about it wasn't all about being undefeated, undisputed, and all the U words he used. I don't know if you caught this there at the end, but he threw the version 1 symbol up at the end. I thought that was pretty funny. I laughed at that a little bit, and I'm still wondering how this face turn's gonna go. Just because we've seen EC3 be so good as a heel, and don't get me wrong, I feel like he can be a great face. But we've seen him for so long as a heel, it kind of takes a little bit of getting used to. It was kind of like EY. it took some time to get used to him being crazy and spitting in the crowd and stuff. Any thoughts on EC3 coming to a realization in his presidential suite?
I liked this from. I really did. It was almost a face turn a little bit, but we still got the EC3 that we expect. And I could see a turn. I don't know. I could see him being kind of one of those sort of gray area face heels, kind of like The Rock was for a while, like Austin was, where, he's not a heel anymore, but he's not like a super face that's going to, pander to the crowd and, things like that. I could see him kind of being that mid area sort of guy. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do with him. I don't think he's going to win the title right away. I could see him winning the title again. But, I could see him kind of maybe starting to make up for the things that he did, kind of seeing clearly now more, but still obviously having that kind of a little bit of that cocky EC3 character still in there. But I'm excited for this.
Agreed. So next we have the main event of the evening, Kurt Angle versus Matt Hardy for TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Rebby would throw a sweater in at the beginning to give Hardy the advantage. Tyrus would interfere whenever he could. Tyrus would get involved, again later on in the match. Obviously, that's what he paid him the big bucks for. But Angle would stay focused. He would hit the Angle Slam for a near fall near towards the end of the match. Angle would fall to the outside. Tyrus once again, he's getting involved, hits a clothesline, kind of talks down to to the Pope a little bit. Ankle lock on Hardy out of pretty much everything. Pretty much everything ever, he would hit the angle lock. And Matt Hardy would end up winning with a low blow, followed by a twist of fate to keep his title. This match was really good though, for two guys who are old. For two guys who are older, and maybe people would even say past their prime, they still can go, which is great. I definitely like this match. It had it, like Casey said, it had its moments where you would think Kurt Angle could even win. And come on, guys. We giving Brock Lesnar too much credit. Let's quit acting like Brock Lesnar created Suplex City. Come on, Kurt Angle was suplexing before Brock Lesnar was even wrestling. Anyway, any thoughts, Casey, on Brock Lesnar not being the creator of Suplex City or the main event? Preferably the main event.
I mean, yeah, I like this match. Like you kind of said, and like what I said earlier too, even with the interferences, for a bit of that match, I really thought Angle was going to win the title. I was convinced. I was like, they going to give him the title, and then a week later he's going to lose it, which is going to suck. But I was really pumped. I thought he was going to win. And obviously, Matt Hardy wins, still building up that heel kind of status that he has. But it was a great match. Also, Taz is the human suplex machine. So, I mean, if we really want for WrestleMania 32, we could have Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar versus Taz.
Versus the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. There we go. Just add every machine. The War Machine, Rhino. I mean, we can have every machine in there.
He ain't do suplex. This is a suplex match, though.
But I mean, I think Samoa Joe can do at least one suplex. And Rhino, he does the belly to belly. He hit that belly to belly real quick. Bam, bam. Real quick, just like that. That's how belly to belly work. Bam, bam.
Real quick. Yeah, no, but I lost my train of thought with that real quick. That bam, bam, real quick.
It's that quick. That's just how it has to happen. But anyway, that was TNA for 2/2/2016. My birthday's coming up, people. My birthday is coming up. I'm excited. On the 9th. So if I see y'all then, be like, y'all, all one of you that watch, be like, happy birthday, bruh, or something. I don't know. You don't have to. I was just kidding. But my birthday is coming up, so I'm excited about that. Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday. That's exciting. We got NXT coming up soon as well. Hopefully tomorrow or later today, technically. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's real quick. Just tappity tap tap. Yeah. Just hit it real quick. But we will see y'all later. Not on the dippity flip stuff. Peace.